Hi everybody, I am James from Bookchic, and I am finally doing a video after 15 months. First off, I kind of want to talk about the bald elephant in the room, and that is my shaved head right here. And um, it was not a choice. It is not a fashion statement. It is not a solidarity statement. It was basically, if you haven't been following me at all, on my blog or Facebook or Twitter, I was diagnosed last September with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and which I'll actually kind of come back to in a second, because that's the official diagnosis, but it's not totally true. I kind of want to just go through, start from the beginning, and talk about, just kind of go through the whole journey. And, I'll obviously get back to books and that sort of thing, but I kind of wanted to just go through everything and just have it all in one video. And so probably about well over a year before I was actually diagnosed with it, I had noticed that I had a lump on the left side of my neck. And it would kind of grow and shrink and that sort of thing, and so I didn't really worry too much about it. I was a little kind of scared of it, just because it was kind of weird, and it was, because it would grow and then stay there for like a day or so and then shrink back again. And but it wasn't for a while before I actually got it checked out, because I didn't have health insurance, and honestly I was kind of a little scared to kind of figure out exactly what it was. And so in July of 2013, what ended up happening was kind of like over the period of a few days. It feels like it was overnight, but it was probably just a few days worth. But the lump actually grew to probably about the size of an orange. I basically had an orange on the side of my neck. And it didn't hurt or anything like that. So, that was kind of one of the other reasons why I wasn't, too concerned about it. But I probably should have been. So anyway, so I kind of went. So I was waiting for open enrollment to happen at my job, and so that I could sign up for health insurance and then get it. Fortunately, I guess. I ended up in September 8th. I was going to see Sarah J. Maas, author of Throne of Glass, and actually I have her book right here, Crown of Midnight, as well. And I was bringing this with me to get it signed, but I got like 20 minutes away from my house, and I had to turn around. That entire weekend, there was a lump on the right side of my neck. That was probably, and keeping with the food analogy, it was probably about the size of like a Starburst, but it hurt a lot. And so if I was like moving my neck at all, if I was doing anything, like, it would hurt. If I was basically staring straight on, that was fine. But if I did anything else, it hurt. And so it was difficult to sleep, and so I just couldn't do it. And so I turned around, and later that day, when my best friend got up, we went to the emergency room together, and they, had to run some tests and stuff, but their initial diagnosis was basically, it was probably, lymphoma, some form of lymphoma. And it turns out that I actually had a lot of B symptoms as well that we didn't really think about, because they were kind of scattered around, and, didn't happen, one thing would happen like once a month or something like that, and then a different thing would happen every single week. So I was having night sweats, I was having nausea and vomiting, frequent nosebleeds. I had a lot of weight loss, even though I was eating, regularly, and but I was still losing weight or not gaining anything. And so probably at my lowest, I was like 118 pounds. And right now I'm like 155. I had gained, I think, when I started chemotherapy, I was 126 pounds. and then when I finished, I weighed about like 165, I think. So I gained about 40 pounds during the course of chemotherapy. And so, but I had all these symptoms, but we didn't really think that they were all connected to each other. So, but it turns out they are. So I was set up with, I had a couple of surgeries to take out a lymph node from my left armpit so that they could figure out, what was going on, and also another one to put a port in me, which they used to give me chemotherapy and to draw blood and all that fun stuff. And then I started chemotherapy about a month after I was diagnosed. And so I was diagnosed, the official diagnosis is stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma. However, what ended up happening was I had something that they had never seen before. And it was a kind of a hybrid of Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, along with some funny T-cell business or something like that. I honestly don't remember everything. So it was, so the official diagnosis was that, but they sent out my scans to, like New Mexico, New York, North Carolina. They talked to the other oncologists in my local cancer center that I went to, and, to kind of figure out the best way to treat me, especially since it was something that they had never really seen before. So I had an aggressive form of chemotherapy, and I was very, very, very lucky that I didn't really have a lot of side effects during the course of chemotherapy. I had a lot of fatigue, but I was still able to, run errands, hang out with friends, go to book events. I, was able to go to YALFest in Charleston in November, last November, and so I was very, very, very lucky that it didn't affect me too much. And so I did chemotherapy from October to February, and in the middle of that, in December, about a week before Christmas, I was hospitalized for 6 days with shingles. Because, it had originally taken on its regular form, going from, a nerve line from my sternum around to my spine on the right side of my body. But then I woke up one day and it has spread to the rest of my body, like from head to about like mid-thigh. And so I was like bumpy all over, and they were like, you need to go to the hospital. So, so I was hospitalized for a few days, and luckily my parents came down to see me since I couldn't go up to see them. So that was really nice, and I was still able to have a good holiday. So then I finished chemotherapy in early February, and they spent some time going back and forth deciding whether or not I needed radiation, and eventually they decided that I did need radiation, and so I did 3 weeks of it in March, and they just focused on this area here where the initial huge ass lump was. And again, luckily, aside from fatigue, I didn't really have any other side effects, and dry skin, so because they were radiating me. And so, I was very, very lucky that I didn't really have a whole lot of side effects, during chemotherapy and during radiation. And I know that there are tons of people out there who have it much worse than, I did. And so I finished radiation at the end of March, and unfortunately, a few days later, I started having these leg pains, which has kind of kept me from, going back to work. And so they believe it's a side effect of my chemotherapy, and plan on, they're sending me to physical therapy. So, so I'll be starting that soon, and hopefully I'll be able to balance work and physical therapy for a few weeks until I can get my legs strengthened again, and, hopefully the side effect will go away. So, so I think that's really about it. If you have any questions about any aspect of what happened, what I just told you about my cancer and that sort of thing, please feel free to ask them in the comments. I don't necessarily like love talking about it, but I don't mind talking about it and telling people, what happened and what was going on. So not everything was, doom and gloom. I did have a short story published in the Best Gay Romance 2014 anthology, which came out in February. And it's a very, very, very short story. It's only like 6 pages long. So you could easily go into a bookstore and just read it if you wanted to just read my story. But I do hope that you would buy it because it is a really, really good anthology, and I really loved it. And I'm so happy to be a part of this anthology with these other fantastic writers. And I did get paid for it, and I got $75, which is fantastic. So, yeah. So, and just 2 more items of business, because I know this is already running really long. Talking about cancer takes forever. So, I just wanted to do a quick little thing of what I'm reading right now. And I'm just about to finish Dark Metropolis by Jacqueline Dollamore, and this comes out next month. And I love Jacqueline's books. They're so good. If you haven't had a chance to read her yet, she has 3 other books out. There's a duology, Magic Under Glass and Magic Under Stone, and also Between the Sea and the Sky, all published by Bloomsbury. And then this is being published by Disney Hyperion. This is a really, really, really good book. It's kind of like set in the 1920s, but it's got magic going on in it, and kind of like a fun little twist on zombies, which I really enjoy. And so it's really, really interesting, and it's going to have a sequel out next year. So I'm excited to see how the story ends, and I'm excited to read more. And finally, since this is my first video back after such a long absence, I figured I'd go ahead and do a contest. And I will be giving away signed copies of Prophecy and Warrior by Ellen O. These are high fantasy books published by Harper Teen. The 3rd book, King, will be published in January. Ellen is such a fantastic person. I love her so much. They're just really good, and especially, with this whole we need diverse books thing going on, this is a fantastic giveaway. And I had originally done it when I reviewed Warrior, and I emailed the person, and then I never heard back, and then I was just too lazy to pick another winner, so I figured I'd just go ahead and just do a different contest now. So if you want to go ahead and enter, just leave a comment below letting me know, and I'll pick one sometime next week when I do another video. So yeah, so that's all you need to do, and hope you like it. So I'll go ahead and get going now because it's already 13 minutes long. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next week. Bye.